Okay, we are back. My name is Dan Coe. I am host of the People's Cabinet. We interview people who are shaping America's future as well as explaining what the hell is going on. I am filling in for David Pakman. The most important story today is once again David Pakman has had his second child. And we all send good energy his way and to his family. I'm really grateful to him and to the entire community for welcoming me. Thank you for all of your kind words. They really do mean a lot. So now we're going to be talking about my favorite topic as someone who used to oversee the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to explain the whole thing for 15 minutes like I did yesterday, though that is a clip that you can listen to if you want to. But the thing that I did highlight yesterday was what Trump's future playbook was going to be. It's going to be trash the BLS methodology. That was step 1. 2, nominate someone who says it needs, quote, updating. 3, funnel cash to outside help, enriching allies. 4, surprise, the numbers go up. And 5, compare apples to oranges and brag about record growth. That's what the playbook is. And we're already seeing that playbook happen. So let me introduce you to a guy named Stephen Moore. He's an economist. He was also a co-author of Project 2025. And I found this interesting Vanity Fair article in 2019. And here's an interesting tidbit that I should read. Quote, "Here's my challenge to any informed voter of any partisan leading," tweeted University of Michigan economist Justin Wolfers about Stephen Moore. "Call your favorite economist, whether they're left, right, libertarian, or socialist. None of them will endorse Stephen Moore. He's manifestly unqualified. And I'm totally serious about this. I think Ivanka would be a better pick for the Fed than Stephen Moore." Okay? So that's a little bit of a bold statement, but obviously this guy is not the most reputable person in the world. So I want to play you a video from when the jobs numbers came out. Again, this was August 1st. At the first Friday of every month, the jobs report comes out. So this was just done at 8:30 a.m. and it's done live and it's very dramatic on CNBC and Fox Business. So this is Fox Business. Stephen Moore was on. So let me play this clip.
73,000 jobs. 73,000 jobs created in the month of July. Number just coming out.
And that's total.
4.2% is the unemployment rate, right in line with expectations. Here are the numbers. For the month of July, jobs came in at 73,000. That was lower than the expectation, which called for 110,000 jobs. The unemployment rate right in step with expectations at 4.2%. Steve Moore, your reaction.
Look, I think this is all a result, this disappointing number is a result of all the turmoil over tariffs and the trade wars.
Okay, so he says tariffs and trade wars are the reason why you're seeing these numbers. Now, with all due respect to economists, I have a great deal of respect for economists. A lot of times they're trying to retroactively create rationalization or explanations for things. You know, the numbers come back and they try to then adapt as a result. So he's saying tariffs and trade wars. That's his justification. But then Donald Trump later that day fires the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner, claims it's all a fraud, claims the calculations are all wrong, as I talked about yesterday. So this is what people do to appease Donald Trump. Stephen Moore prints a couple charts, okay, and waltzes into the Oval Office. So this was yesterday, and this is example of step 1, okay, step 1 of the playbook, which is trash the BLS methodology. So here he is in the Oval Office yesterday with the president.
Yes, George.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I called the president because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one has ever seen before, and I'll just very quickly go through these. So I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. That's Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's, I'm not
It might
making
not have been an error. That's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that, you may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
Okay, so there's a very interesting thing that happened there. If you notice, he's suggesting, Stephen Moore suggesting it's an error. President Trump is suggesting it was intentionally done. Okay, let's take a step back. As I mentioned before, there are 2,000 people at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 40 or so who are directly involved with putting together this jobs data every month. There are hundreds of thousands of data inputs that is done to collect this. So faking this or somehow manipulating it is incredibly difficult. That would take a national conspiracy. On top of that, the director, in this case, Erica McIntyre, doesn't even see the data until 2 days before it is released, 1 day before the president is briefed. So this notion that she faked it is crazy. Also, as I mentioned, this is all based on statistical science. It's a sample. You get more data back, and you make revisions. And so it is not sound at all for her to have modified the data somehow when she saw the revisions needing to what it would be. It is her duty as an economist to accurately report the information that is presented to her. There is no faking here. And even if she wanted to fake it, there's no process to do that. On top of that, they talk about 2023 and 2024. In March of 2023, and I should say January and February, the complete months of 2023, Bill Beach was the commissioner, not Erica McIntyre. And Bill Beach was a Trump appointee. And by the way, I worked very closely with Bill Beach, and I have great respect for him. These are people who are taking career officials who have been there for a very long time and shepherding this data, okay? Another thing that I want to point out is that Trump keeps talking about 818,000 jobs, but what he's leaving out is something really interesting. These numbers of 818,000 were later reduced. Here's a Political fact. The adjustment announced August 21st, 2024 was preliminary, with a final number based on complete data to be released in February 2025. When the agency published that final number, it was a smaller decrease of 589,000, rather than the preliminary decrease of 818,000. This means Trump was wrong on CNBC. By the way, that's the interview that we played yesterday. Trump was wrong on CNBC when he said the final number was more than the original 818,000. Now, we're not at all surprised that Trump is lying, okay? But the reality is, like, PolitiFact checked monthly employment revisions published around the time of 2024 election, okay? These revisions are made every month. None of these were close in scale to the 800,000 or 900,000 figures that Trump repeated, right? So this is just a lie to make things look like there's some kind of justification for what Erica McIntyre did. Now, is even that reduced number a large number? Yes, it is. But it's not out of the realm of, in some cases, a lot more jobs number revisions happened, for example, after the Great Recession. So you can say that it is a large number, but to suggest that it was somehow a books cooking is crazy. And if you look at actually the chart that was brought into the Oval Office because it was fuzzy on the screen, it's just unclear where any of these numbers are coming from. And it is just part of a larger point here, which is just these people are coming in to appease the president, right? This is a president who loves flattery. And so someone coming in, waving these jobs numbers, make him feel really, really good. And that's the whole point, right? Is to create this justification to flatter the president in hopes that he shines brightly on you. And so there's a couple of things that I also want to point out as to where we go from here. I think you're going to see a lot of other flattery and conspiracy theories about the data to try to make Trump look good. As I mentioned before, the president needs to announce an appointment of a new pick. The person who is in that position in the interim is a guy named Bill Watrowski. Okay, he has been a career, nonpartisan person at the Bureau of Labor Statistics for a very, very long time. He is somebody who will not fudge the data. And again, part of the structure of career officials is to make sure that is the case. I feel incredibly bad for him. He is going to probably be facing a lot of pressure, but I don't doubt his methodology. The real question, or his integrity, because he's seen Republican and Democratic leaders. The real question is going to be who he appoints next. That person, I almost guarantee you, in fact, I guarantee you, will start talking about concerns about methodology of the data that will open the door for not only a way to goose the numbers, but to call in outside vendors who could be allies of President Trump to enrich through contracts. There's a lot more here. This was just emblematic of the very start of what you're going to see with this whole drama, which is going to hurt everyone, as I mentioned. Trillions of dollars are decided based on jobs numbers. Trump will use that to his advantage. He will compare apples to oranges to his own benefit.